Hello, everybody. This is Terrence and Jill, and we'd just like to welcome you guys to our latest video.
Video 5. All right. So last week, I told y'all how I knew Terrence was the one, and guess what? This week he telling y'all how he knew I was and am the one. So I know what they are, but we're gonna share them with you.
Yes.
So baby, let's get started.
Absolutely.
How did you know I was the one?
Absolutely. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually give you these in the order that I actually recognized them, and as we experienced it through our journey. So there's no one is more important than the other. This is just the order that it actually happened. So I can keep it straight in my head what I'm talking about.
Okay, I didn't know that. But okay, let's go.
So the first one is going to be that I knew she was the one when I recognized that there was a spiritual attraction. And what I mean by the spiritual attraction is uh, when I was asleep, when God first woke me up, and I recognized Jill on my Facebook page. I didn't know who she was, but I told you guys in earlier videos that I couldn't get her out of my head, couldn't get her out of my mind. I was continuously trying to figure out who she was, how she got there. I even went back to see if I sent her a friend request or she sent me, how all of that happened, but I couldn't find anything. So the spiritual attraction occurred because while I was asleep, God placed my rib in Jill. That was the magnetic attraction, the spiritual attraction between us. So that was number one.
Wow.
And I share that because I want you guys to understand that it's so much more important for you guys to have a spiritual attraction than a physical attraction. Because over the years, our physical will change. We won't look like the same people we look like today as we get older, whatever age you are. As you get to 50 and 60, things aren't going to be the same. So it's so much more important that y'all's spirit fall in love with each other, that there's an attraction between the two of your spirit. So that's why this is definitely the first one. I'm so glad that it happened so I can share that with you guys, because I know some people don't know the difference, or they didn't know that there was more than one type of attraction. So I wanted to make sure I put that in there. Okay. And the next one is Jill's obedience to God. And now this happened in 3 different times throughout our journey that really stood out to me, but they all really is a testament of her obedience to God. So I want to share each one of those 3 episodes with you. Okay. Now the first one happened before I even knew Jill existed. If you remember in our earlier videos, Jill said that she prayed for me, and she started praying for me more than a year before she and I actually even conversed, before we even passed any messages to each other. She did this every day for more than a year before she and I held our first conversation. So that obedience and the things that she brought me through, now that I think back, she may have brought me through a lot of things in that year, and I didn't even know that she was praying for me. So just the fact that she was obedient to God and prayed for me for an entire year or more before she and I had a chance to converse for the first time, that right there is definitely something that made me say, yeah, I need to really figure out who this woman is and why she's, so important to me, and what's going on. So yes, that was one of those 3 occasions. Okay. The second one was Jill mentioned to you guys that she was willing to release me. Now, she also told you, she shared this with me on a phone call. She and I was talking, and it was when we was talking for like 8 months before we still saw each other. We still hadn't seen each other yet, but now we're having some very in-depth conversations. This was like months into us conversing, and she mentioned to me that, you know what, I had this conversation with God, and I told God, I don't know who this guy is, what his role is in my life, what you have for us, and if you don't, if he's not the one for me, God, and it's just going to be me and you, God, Okay, then it'll just be me and you. When she shared that with me, see, I had already had a similar thought, and I felt, wow, that is huge. So again, that's just her obedience to God. That's her telling God that, look, I don't care what it is you have in store for me, whether it's with this guy or not. I'm going to follow your lead, and I'm going to allow you to dictate where I'm going from here. And so to me, that was very powerful. And the third time that she shared something that was that profound to me is, most of you know Jill as the savvy servant. Most of you know her as a savvy servant. So you guys know and understand how much she's actually affected a lot of people's lives. And she does this every day. That's just what she do. And one of the things that was very profound to me, and one of the areas where I said she has to be the one for me, is when she told me that, look, if I have to end the savvy servant for us, I will do it without hesitation. Do y'all understand how powerful that is? That she was willing to sacrifice everything that she's built for herself. She was willing to give it up at a snap of a finger if I told her that she needed to give that up for us. That right there. When you're willing to do that for someone else, you might want to consider how important that person is in your life, and they may just be the one for you to be able to make that type of sacrifice.
And I have to just interject, because what he said is that I'm going to make sure that you be able to work the savvy servant from home as long as you want. So.
Absolutely. So yes, that right there was very powerful. So that was another testament of her obedience to God again. So, first of all, it's the fact that we had the spiritual attraction, then her obedience to God. Okay. Now this one is something that is really dear to me. And that is, you already heard about her praying for me. When it got to the point to where I was praying for Jill more than I was praying for myself, when I started praying for Jill before I would even pray for myself, every single morning, and then inclusive with that, the fact that she and I, when we are in each other's presence, we pray together every day that we're together. That in itself told me that, yeah, she's the one. I mean, we've all been in relationships in the past, but I've never been in a relationship where she and I are praying as much as we are. We're praying individually. We're praying together. I'm praying for her. She's praying for me. I mean, I'm telling you, if God ain't in this, there's something is really wrong here, because
ultimate faith.
We have so much faith in God leading this relationship to the point to where we pray for each other and with each other so many times a day that God has to be involved in this. So yeah, that in itself told me that, yeah, she's the one for me. She's definitely the one. So, now, like I said, those are three big areas right there. And then this one here, I think it should resonate with people, especially if you got children. My relationship with my daughter is very profound to me. It's very important. And my daughter has never met anyone that I dated in the past. And I did that on purpose because I didn't want her to see me bringing different women home. I didn't want her to see me going through women, one right after the other. So when I met Jill and realized that she was the one for me, she and I had a conversation. And in that conversation, we agreed that we wouldn't even go public with telling anybody else until after I had an opportunity to introduce Jill to my daughter and them two have a chance to meet. And Jill agreed to it right off the gate. And it's amazing that that's happened, and I'm going to tell you why. Because in the past, every person I've ever dated in the past, I have a great relationship with my kid's mother. with my ex-wife. And every single person I've ever dated has had an issue with that. And when Jill and I had that conversation, not only did she agree to, yes, the best thing for us to do is to wait until after she had a chance to meet my daughter. I call her baby girl, and that's what we call her. So
that's what I call her.
And so we didn't want to go public until after she and baby girl had a chance to meet. But even more importantly, she told me the fact that you and your ex-wife has such a great relationship. She said, to me, that is a testament of your character. And she said, and if you guys had a bad relationship, I would look at that as a red light that I needed to leave. A red flag, and I need to leave and get away from you as quickly as possible. So just the fact that she viewed it from a totally different perspective, that's never happened. And I was like, wow. So yeah, that right there told me also that she's the one for me.
Wow.
So yeah, those are huge. Those are huge right there. And then I do hope that there are men looking at this. I hope there are guys looking at this, because this one here, the last area I want to cover in this, is something that I know men are going to be like, yeah, that's what's up. And that is this. I knew she was the one for me when Jill told me that she was going to get out of let me lead. She told me, look, wherever this relationship goes, it's going to be on you.
It's going to be on you.
She said, I'm going to follow your lead. Whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, whatever we're going to do in this relationship, I'm following you and your lead. That is huge. You don't understand how many times a man have said he wished a woman would allow him to lead, or they were doing okay until the conflict came up between him being able to make choices for his household and lead because he felt he wasn't able to lead. Whenever a man feels like he can't be the man and be who God created him to be, you're going to have a problem in a relationship. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how special you are to him. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a problem. And the other thing she told me in conjunction with that was, or the other thing she did was, she allowed me to be her strength when she was weak. Mm-hmm. I understand when women tell us as men that they feel comfortable enough to be weak, that's powerful.
Security.
Because women don't admit that. That's hard for them to say, I'm going to let go control. I'm going to let go of having to control everything and give it to you. And the fact that she told me she felt secure enough with me to be weak and allow me to be her strength, look, I don't care what anybody say. I was ready to say, you know what? I need to go and put a ring on this woman's finger right now. Because that just don't happen often. Mm-hmm. And you need to understand that because it's a rare thing, when you do find it, you need to cease it and say, Lord, I'm not going anywhere. If this is who you got for me, I'm ready to plant my feet right here, and we're going to start making future plans together right now. Mm-hmm. So those, yes.
So those is?
But those are the reasons and the times when I found that she would realize that she was the one for me.
Wow.
So I
hope
hope you like that.
Because, the funny thing is that when I remember us having that initial conversation about when you said we're going to take this slow because I don't want to mislead you, and I was like, okay, slow is perfect, knowing that I was almost 50 years old. But even with that, I was very careful, and still am. I'm very careful of saying I'm going to let you I'm very careful. Like, I'm not going. I don't have. The problem is I got to remove control. Mm-hmm. So my thing is that I am going to remove myself out the way. Whatever you want to do to take the lead, that's up to you. But I'm not going to let you do anything. That's not my responsibility. So, but just the falling back, just the security, like the emotional security. I know a lot of people, a lot of women, they talk about they want that emotional security. A lot of people don't have it. Right. And that was one of the things, beyond the financial security, right. Which of course that is important. And that's very still irrelevant to me. Which it comes with this, but It was this spiritual security and the emotional security that means a lot. And so, wow. And I had no idea you were gonna propose to me as fast as you did. So I
Wow.
didn't.
Well, that wasn't the intent. I had a date set. However, again, our conversations kept going in the direction that it was going in, and I was like, "Oh, she think I'm playing."
Oh, maybe maybe that'll be the next video. We'll talk about how that happened, because that happened out of the blue. That'll be the next video, maybe.
With that said, well, I definitely, we have so many videos that we've been talking about doing in the future. So, we definitely hope that this has been an enlightenment to somebody, and that you guys enjoy this video.
Yes.
And please, look forward to the next one, because we have some serious topics that we really would like to share with you guys. And so
in real time.
Yes, in real time.
In real time. We ain't married and got this thing all figured out and telling y'all what y'all need to do, in hindsight. Nah, this is real time.
Yeah, and I hope you get this out of all of our videos, because the one thing we do want to make sure you do get out of it is that we're not telling you to do it the way we did it. We're not telling you it's going to even happen for you the way it happened for us. We are telling you to just involve God.
Yeah, that's God-Ordained.
Seek to God, and He will take care of everything else for you. He will do all the work behind the scenes, and He will set everything up. He will allow y'all's paths to cross when the time is right. He will make sure that you have what He needs, and He has what you need. And He's going to work all that out for you. So that's our message. It's just, seek God's advice, seek His leadership, His guidance, surrender.
However long it takes.
Yes. And if you do that, then you won't have to sacrifice and compromise what you really want and who you really deserve. Yeah. And that is definitely the end game, is getting that person that God has for you, because then it's definitely going to work itself out for you.
Right.
And it's going to benefit the both of you being together.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was awesome, baby.
Yeah. Thank you, baby.
All right.
So with that said, we look forward to the next one. And may you guys have a very blessed evening.
All right. Don't forget to subscribe and share. All
Absolutely.
Right. You be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.